Is that what's really the corrupt? Or I felt that Iran in that era it was a very strong country and it had a strong army and a rich country it was. So I don't understand it's corrupt or rich or was good or not. Or,
Well,
can you shed the light on that?
I'd be glad to. I guess if you ask different people of different classes,
Yes.
you might get different answers. But I was from the middle class, so I was in the majority of the country.
But so you were well-to-do if you're a middle class.
Yes,
I mean, okay.
yes, we were well-to-do. And we could see that advances that Shah brought to Iran.
Yes.
Before Shah, 60+% of Iranians were illiterate.
Wow. Wow.
And education came in, and with that came in civilization. It changed things. However, Shah brought many things that were to us were new, but yet they were freedom. The system
you have more freedom than today.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Right.
Shah himself was not a religious man.
All right.
You understand? He was more secular.
All right.
He respected Islam, but he was tolerant of it to a certain point.
Yes.
Because if you want to bring him to today's date, in America, the language would be he wanted separation of church and of mosque and state.
And religion.
That's what he wanted. He was trying to accomplish that.
Yes.
He was trying to bind with Western world in order to gain more power militarily. Iran was the fourth powerful naval military in the world.
In the Middle East,
yes,
it was also.
Very, and the economy was blooming in 70s. Why? Iranian people were going to Europe and they were buying Volvo, Mercedes-Benz and driving them back to Iran. They had houses in Europe, in America, and houses in Iran.
So it wasn't bad.
Oh, the economy was the best has ever been.
Yes, yes.
The only problem was that Shah was not tolerant of those who spoke against him.
Yeah, okay.
And that caused some of the more zealous Muslims to be very upset because they couldn't speak up, and if they did, they were persecuted. But of course, that was the crux of the problem. However, after he left, and in the last 30 years, the stories you hear from Iran, and I've been to Iran 3 times in these last few years, if I may so say, it makes Shah look like a Sunday school teacher.
Wow.
He looked like a saint compared to today. The corruption used to be at the top.
Wow.
You know, if you wanted to get somewhere, you bribe the top guy in charge. Now the corruption starts from the very bottom. If you want to get something done, you have to start from the bottom and bribe and go all the way to the top.
We call it bakshish in Arabic. Give money to...
Reshve in Farsi.
Rashwa, yeah.
Yeah,
Rashwa
there we go. We have it in common.
Yeah,
Reshve in Farsi. So let me give you an example.
Yes.
I was at airport, and when I got to Iran back in 2003.
All right.
And my luggage was somehow, lost temporarily. And they told me to come back and get them. And I had all kinds of gifts for the family. You know how we are. We go with a whole bunch of luggage. And I went back to get them the next day. They told me it was there. But the guy had to have me go in the back room, give a little reshve, give it a bribery. But then I said, okay, is it ready? Is it ready to go? Because my brothers warned me that you've been in the United States for a while. Things have changed. So, don't fight the system. Just give him the reshve. Just give him the bribe.
Give him the money he needs so we can get it.
Yeah, so I did. I thought, well, I'm out of here. But no. He took me to another guy, little office, his boss. And the guy talked to me and a little bit and said, well, I don't know where they're at exactly, but we could find them. But if you need them quickly, we could always work something out, And so I had to give him a little bit. And then I went to the third guy. And this is a very simple example. It used to be one man you just bribed and you got your stuff and it was respectful. Now it was much more difficult and more complicated.
What if you're coming here and have much change in your pocket? What are you going to do? There's an ATM there?
They think if you're from America, you're rich.
Oh, you're...
So, yeah, you're in trouble.
Your pockets are full.
Yes, they think you have dollars.
All right.
And they want dollars, too, if you have rich people, they want dollars.
All right. So let's get back now to your upbringing and your dad and your grandfather is a religious man. He's a leader of the mosque, and you've been taught you are a Muslim, you're going to stay Muslim, and you thought that you are doing Islam something good because you are trying to be a good Muslim in your era. But you like to be educated. And I know many Iranian education, they are proud. There's engineers, there's doctors, there's well-to-do Iranian here in the United States even. But when the revolution came, they kicked them out. Why?
Well, the
don't like-
revolution, yes, the revolution was designed to do away with any kind of education and westernization. And in a sense, it set us back. I say
Yes.
set us back to 900 years.
Wow.
And the illiteracy rate went back down again. It used to be that only in the villages outside, in the countryside, you find people that were illiterate. Even then, they had some teachers. You know, They
Yes.
had some. Even the mullahs in those areas could read and write, and they were the teachers. But now, when you go, I went back to Iran. I was really surprised. Yes, in a big city, there are a lot of people who are educated.
Yes.
But there are millions who don't live in a big city who are back to where it used to be
Back to the woods.
before 30 years ago. And of course, the women. When I was in Iran, I was raised under Shah. I remember I was a child when Shah outlawed chador. And his reasoning was there was a lot of crime and
You're
crime
hidden-
against
you're
humanity.
disguised, yeah.
Disguised under the chador. So, but I believe he wanted to have women free. And so women had a lot more freedom. They were driving. My sisters, if they didn't want to wear the hijab, they didn't have to. But they did because of my grandfather,
Yes,
respecting him and his name.
religious backgrounds.
Yes. However, there were many people who didn't have to wear hijab, and you were not judged by it. When I went in Iran, I went to renew my passport in a government building. It was in September. It was over 100 degrees.
This is 2000.
2000. This was back in first time 1997.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I had to go in there to renew my passport, and so I went to go in there, and I had a short sleeve shirt. It was summer. It was 100 degrees out there.
Wow.
And the guard at the door, a young man, couldn't be more than 20, pointed a machine gun in my chest.
Wow.
Yeah, and asked me if do you think you're going to go in the Islamic building looking like that? And I said, what do you mean looking like that? He says, your arms are showing. He says, what are you trying to do? Impress the women? Spoke to me in that manner.
Wow. Wow.
And I realized that they have gone back. So a short sleeve
Welcome back.
shirt was, so if they did that to a man, what would they do to a woman? So of course I had a lot of stories, my families, friends, and we knew in Iran who have been suffered severely with not being covered.
Because of
hair
their
on-
appearance.
Oh yes, the stories are so many.
All right. So now I'm going to move forward. You're 18. You finished your high school.
Yes.
And now you're ready to get more education.
Yes, I was ready to get more education, and I worked for my dad for 2 years after that.
And your dad has a business?
Yes,
or-
he had good business, and I worked for him and for 2 years, and of course, I didn't want any salary for it. He was my
your
father.
dad, your family, yeah.
And then after 2 years, I took some exams, and he said, "Well, I'll tell you what, if you want a further education, I'm willing to support you, and you can go to any country you want to get your education."
Great. That's great.
And at that time, we had a good friend whose son was in the United States.
Yes.
He's been here a few years, and I thought, well, I want to go to the United States then. I
Wow.
want to learn English, and I want to get my education. I want to come back to Iran, and I want to work and live in Iran.
Yes.
My dream was to go back. I loved Iran. It was a wonderful place. We had pretty much freedom and a capitalism system. And, it was a place that you with some education and knowing English language well, you could excel, and you could
You'll be a
really get
successful
places.
man there.
Yes,
Okay.
you could. Because I had many people who had come back, and we've seen them, and they had nice positions in the government. So I agreed. I said, okay, that'd be great. I want to go to the United States. And that's when I left. However,
That was like 20.
this
you
was
were-
1979.
But you were 20 years old, 21, something like that?
Yes, I was 20 years
All right.
1979, and things were changing. We could see some group of people, more fanatic Islamic groups, and I had cousins that were in them with them. They were trying to create some problems for Shah and against the government, and we could see they would pull up by some banks or some American-backed business, and they would break the glass and do some vandalism and stuff. It began that I remember those days very well. But I thought, well, this will pass.
Yeah.
So that was back in 1979, and I left in February of 1979.
February 1970.